Most photographers think that harsh flash look is just blasting light at people. That couldn't be further from the truth. That's why their photos look amateur. When it's done well, it looks editorial, it looks fun, intentional, and clean. When it's done poorly, planners and clients notice. I've been brought in to second shoot for other photographers and even recommended by planners for my own weddings, specifically because I know how to do that harsh flash look properly. In this video, I'm going to show you exactly how I light my photos, and it's so much easier than you think. There are two approaches to this look. There is on-camera flash and off-camera flash. But before we get to settings, there are two things that matter most: your flash and your lens. If you're not sure which flash to get, here are three options for you. The first is we have this Godox flash. It's called the Godox Luxe Junior. There's a new one out that I have seen people talking about that apparently is pretty good. But this this little guy is great. It's cheap. I find there's a little bit of red eye that's happening, so it's more time in post and you have to correct that. However, it has got a pretty cool look. It works great if you're nice and close to people, and it's so cheap. It has no business being this good. So this is a great on-camera option that is incredibly cheap if you're using a lens where you can get nice and close to people. The next is the Profoto A10. Now this is an on-camera flash that you can also use off-camera. There is a Godox version of this. I believe it's the V1. Is Profoto better? Yes. Is it 3 times the cost better? Probably not. So it just comes down to what is your budget, and if you want the best of the best. I mean, their interface is super clean. They're easy to use. I'm really happy with the quality of the light that comes out of this. But most clients will never notice. So if you don't have the budget for it, don't worry. Your Godox V1 will be fine. I used one for years. And last but not least, we have the Profoto A2. It's just like the Profoto A10, except for it's smaller and it looks different, and it's more fun to use. And yeah, that's about the only difference. The thing I do really love about the Profoto A series is these are all the same battery, so that's nice. Once again, I believe there's a Godox version of this. I think it's called the AD300. It's going to be the same thing. So there are 3 great flash options. Now, if you are going to be doing off-camera flash, you're going to need a trigger. So I'm using this little puck from Profoto. It's what I'm using, and Godox has their own version of that as well. Now on to lenses. If you want that really cool, fun, editorial vibe to your photos, you're going to want a wider lens. I'm a big fan of between 24 millimeters all the way up to 35 millimeters. I just find that wideness will give you more of the vibe. It also makes it feel more like you're there. So I find a lot of people will go to a 24-70, or you can get a fixed 24, a fixed 28, or even a fixed 35 millimeter lens. I personally have the Leica Q2, since it is a fixed 28 millimeter lens on here. I love it. It is the most fun camera I've ever owned, next to the Fuji X100 series cameras. So yeah, anywhere between 24 to 35 millimeters will get you that look. Now we get to the fun part, the camera settings. And this does not have to be complicated, I promise you. This is so much more simple than you think. There's only 3 things you have to worry about, and that is going to be your aperture, then your shutter speed, and then your ISO. So as soon as I get into a spot where I know I'm going to be using my flash, I immediately bring my aperture down to f8. I then bring my ISO to 1/100th of a second-ish. On my camera here, it's 1/125th of a second. Sometimes I'll even go down if I need to, if I want more ambient light, to 1/30th of a second. Now, most cameras, I find, don't do that super well. You're going to start getting more of that motion blur. But I find my camera handles it quite well, so sometimes I can go as low as that. But 1/100th of a second, 1/125th of a second is a great starting point. And then the last thing is your ISO. I'll start at 400 ISO. If I need to, I'll push it to 800. And that is going to be the main settings you need when photographing people. Now let's recap that really quick, and that is going to be f8 for your aperture, 1/100th of a second-ish, in around there for your shutter speed, and start at ISO 400. It's that simple, seriously. Now for flash settings. If you're using Profoto, whether it's on my A2 or A10, I will start at 6.3 for the power. Sometimes I need to add a little bit more. Sometimes I need to take a little bit away, but that gives me a really good starting point. Then if you're on Godox, that is going to be between 1/8 and 1/16 power. If you start there, it's going to give you a really good starting point. If you want to make it really easy on yourself, you can also go to TTL, which stands for through the lens, where it's basically like auto for your flash, and then you can add a little bit of power, take a little bit away. It's very similar. Personally, I like having control and shooting in manual. It just, like I said, it's more of a control thing. Also, I can't actually shoot TTL because this, I believe, is a Fuji flash, and I don't own a Fuji camera, so this doesn't, the TTL does not work natively on any of my cameras right now. Last but not least, we need to talk about the flash position. If you have your flash on camera, it's pretty easy. You just have to have it pointed at them. Now, it looks okay, but I find it just tends to look a little flat. I find it leaves something to be desired. But if you don't have a trigger, all good, you can do that and it'll get the job done. What I like to do is have the trigger on the camera and go off camera with the flash and have it just above their head. So right above the camera and right above their head. And I find that gives this really nice light on the face, while then giving this really nice shadow below the chin. It just has this really cool look, very paparazzi. It looks great. Now, if you want to have that harsh flash, or that harsh shadow rather, on the side of the body, all you're going to do is, as you're taking the photo, take your flash, and instead of going up, you're going to go on a 45-degree angle and take the photo there. And that's it. Using a flash, using that to get that harsh flash look, it does not need to be intimidating. It does not need to be complicated. If you follow everything I just said in this video, it's going to give you a really good base for how to take those great harsh flash photos on a real wedding day. If you have any questions, let me know in the comments or send me a DM on Instagram. See ya.